Well, Sid, you just pointed out something that made me look like an idiot because I have been sitting here talking this whole time with my mic off. I'm gonna have to edit that part out of this stream before I re-upload it. Okay, so let me start from the beginning here. um, so tomorrow's Mother's Day. I feel like such an idiot now. Tomorrow's Mother's Day, and the plan was for me and yeah, for me and my girlfriend, we are gonna go up to the movies and see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Um, and her mom was coming over in the morning, and I couldn't reach my mom, so we didn't make plans with her for tomorrow. But then things changed because my mom said, "Hey, me and your father want to come by later on in the night. I'll bring food and so on and so forth." So we had to readjust our plans. So we went to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 tonight. Um, we just got back about an hour ago, and then so I was getting messages asking me if I was going to stream, and I said, "Yeah, I'll be streaming in about an hour." And so we got home in time for me to stream in an hour from then. But the problem was there was some kind of YouTube API error, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't stream. It was stopping me from streaming, and it turns out there was an update with XSplit. And once I updated it, I was able to hop on. So yeah, this is a late stream for me. It's about probably 2:30 in the morning right now, so it won't be a long stream. But I said I'd be on tonight. Here I am. As for the music in the game, by the way, you'll notice I'm not running it through the direct line anymore through my Elgato because I was getting the last video I did. I got another copyright notice, and this time it was because apparently for about a minute while I was between talking, the Castlevania 3 song ran for about a minute. And um, it wasn't Konami, but there are companies that buy the rights to these old songs and old video clips and soundtracks and stuff like that. They'll buy the rights to it, the copyright, and they get to claim it. So um, Konami doesn't want to chase these people down, so this company does it. And the first video that I did for the arcade couch, at the time it was Arcade Games Live or whatever, um, I got a copyright notice. Now they're not strikes. There's nothing going on with my channel. I didn't get anything bad from it. It was just a notice, and they said if you agree with this, just let it be, and nothing's gonna happen. And I said okay, I don't care. I couldn't monetize the first one. Big deal. I'm not gonna make 20 cents off of it, and I left it. But this last one, I got uh, I got notified. How's it going, Albert? Yes, it does suck. Exactly. I was not in no way whatsoever. I was. It's not like I was purposely saying, "Hey guys, check out the Castlevania 3 soundtrack," and then playing it on a stream. It was just something in the background, and I happened to not speak because I was doing something else at the time for a minute, and it played, and they get you, you know. They're cutthroat. But this last video I did, the number 4 arcade couch video, is with the Castlevania stuff, and it turns out the first one I just plain couldn't monetize it, and I said no big deal, I don't care. It's not like I'm making money anyways. But the second one, this company who apparently bought the rights to the Castlevania music monetized the video under their name, so they were going to get paid for any views. And I said, oh no, I can't do that. I mean, it's literally only like the video will never see more than 20 cents. It's not about the money. It's about the idea. It's the idea that somebody is there just because I accidentally had a song play for a minute with no intentions of it. They're going to say, no, no, not going to happen. We're going to get paid for that, you know? So they made about 3 cents off the video, and I cut that clip out of it. And I cut the clip out of the first one where the Capcom music was playing and re-uploaded them. So they are monetized under my name now. And like I said, I'm not going to get money from them or anything. It's not like that. But it's just the idea of working on something or doing something or having it be your production video, and somebody else just coming along because of 60 seconds of it supposedly belongs to them. Whatever. I'll stop rambling about it. But it does suck. Indeed, it does suck. What doesn't suck is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now, I'm not going to give away any plot or any story or anything like that, because besides the people on the channel now, there are other people who will watch this video later, so I'm not an asshole. I'm not going to do that. But I will give my brief opinion on the movie. I think part one was better. And I think they could have gone without the first half hour of this one. That's my brief opinion. I have many, many opinions about it because I'm a comic nerd, but I won't share those. Not right now. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I just think the first one was better. I think the foundation that they built in the first one was better. I think that the camaraderie was better, but there were a couple characters in this one, part two, that really kind of stole the show. Surprisingly, stole the show. And I'm not gonna say who, but those that watched it probably already know. They were really, really, really good in this movie. I don't know. I guess my expectations were just being a part two. They were twice as high, and it didn't quite meet that. Plus, pardon my language, but for about 70% of the movie, I had to take a piss, but I didn't want to get up and go because I was going to miss something. So, yeah, Sid, that's the same way for me. My favorite movie of all the Marvel movies. Although Thor Ragnarok may beat that. From the looks of it so far, it just might beat out Guardians of the Galaxy. Also, I will say one thing about Guardians. If you don't want to, it's not a spoiler really, it's an end credit scene. But if you don't want to know about the end credits, cover your ears. Starjammers. Boy, oh boy, can I not wait for that. Sylvester Stallone, Starjammers, come on. That's going to be awesome. But that Thor Ragnarok definitely looks to be ahead of the others, just from a preview. And I like that they're revealing some, but not enough to where you can see what's going to happen. You know, I mean, those that read the comics kind of have an idea of what's going to happen between Thor and Hulk, but um, yeah, I really shouldn't get my expectations high, but I was really. Here's a spoiler for Civil War, but most I would hope have seen that already. Uh, Civil War was my absolute favorite as I watched it. No, I take that back. Winter Soldier was until Guardians of the Galaxy came out, but Civil War would have been ahead had they stuck to the comic book. And now they can't stick to the comic book completely because they don't own rights to all the characters and stuff like that. But I just think that they strayed from the comic too much and wanted to make this big action scene and wanted to just have it be a fan movie. Not everybody reads comics, not everybody understands comics, and when you start going a different direction, the direction the comics are going, it can confuse people. And I just think that they catered to the non-comic fans too much. They catered to the movie fans more. Yeah, exactly, Albert. Most people should have seen it if they care. If they care enough to say, "Hey, why are you spoiling it?" then they should have seen it by now. Spider-Man, I can't. I love Michael Keaton as Vulture. I really love that. But I can't say I'm too excited about the movie. I haven't been excited about. He was good in Civil War. He was decent, but I haven't been excited about the new Spider-Man ever since that. I mean, hey, what's up, Ryan? So really, right now, the only thing I'm looking forward to is Thor Ragnarok. The Black Panther movie looks to be good. I think the Black Panther movie is going to be amazing because they're going to go a direction that they haven't gone. And I'm not just talking about race. I'm talking overall storyline, the settings, everything about Black Panther. If they stay true to the comics, I think that movie's going to be amazing. And the fact that it's kind of tied with the Captain America type deal and stuff, and Captain America being my favorite movies from the Marvel grounded universe, I really am looking forward to Black Panther. But, you know, you got Black Panther coming out. Um, well, the comic was okay. I can think of many of the storylines that were better, but um, I still think they should have stayed true to it. Best Marvel event ever? I wouldn't even go that far. Civil War was mediocre at best as a comic book. You know what comic book I really enjoyed? What the hell was it? Boy, I was a kid when I read that one. Oh God, Logan was good, but that wasn't in the that wasn't the Disney Marvel movies, was it? That was or was it? We literally just watched Logan like 2 or 3 days ago. And that movie just blew me away. It had so many good moments in there. The action was fantastic. The oh my god, the violence in the beginning of the movie. I was just like, yeah. I knew right away it was going to be a movie I was going to enjoy just by the fact that they were portraying Wolverine the way he should be. And yeah, he had his faults and he had his um, many things wrong with him in that movie. But yeah, Fox. Okay. Yeah, I figured it wasn't the Disney brand. Is Deadpool with Fox as well? Deadpool's with Fox. I mean, they're all under Marvel, but Disney sells out the rights to the characters, so that's why we'll unfortunately never see crossovers like Wolverine and Spider Man and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just. I'm gonna get a little crude here, but it was fucking awesome to see him in that fight in the beginning and chop the guy's head in half. I was like, damn! I knew it was going to be a real Wolverine movie. And all I could think was, it's about time. You know, that movie was so fantastic. The writing was good. The whole story flowed really well. Just, it was really good. I can't believe we waited so long to see it. You know, um, and the ending was pretty sad too. But we're all guys here, so we won't talk about the ending. But like I said, I'm looking forward to Black Panther. I think I really wish that Black Panther was being done by the same group that kind of deals with the Logan and Deadpool movies. I would love to see a Black Panther movie in that style. Oh man. But alas it's not. That's the Disney movie. Disney's been kind of lenient lately though. They've been kind of like, okay, if it sells, we'll do it, you know. Um but nowhere near as lenient as Deadpool or Logan. I would say some things about Deadpool, but a lot of people stick up for the Deadpool movie, so I won't say them. I don't want to make any enemies tonight. Um, but I mean, and now you got me thinking about this Logan movie and what my favorite comic movie is. I'm just going to say my favorite comic book movie is the Fantastic Four movie that came out in the 70s. There we go. Now I'm in the safe ground. Couldn't possibly offend anybody with that. Yeah, Deadpool is different. It's not about it being different. With my opinion, anyways. No, not the Jessica Alba one. I'm talking about that one that looks like it was filmed with a potato. They had a Fantastic Four one, they had a Captain America one, and a Spider-Man movie, and they all were filmed with potatoes. I think they probably filmed them at the same time. When one was doing a stunt on the roof, the next superhero came along and filmed the stunt on the same roof for their movie. Pretty sure that's how it went. Yeah, yeah, it is. But seriously though, I cannot wait for Starjammers. I'm probably the only fucking Starjammers fan that exists. But when they showed that scene at the end of Guardians 2, I was like, wow, I cannot believe that. I mean, you kind of saw it coming due to the build-up that they're doing with Thanos and stuff like that, but that was probably the most exciting part of the movie for me, sadly. Yeah, yeah. And you guys are gonna think this is crazy, but I have yet to sit down and watch the Daredevil show, and I want to, but I've yet to sit down and watch it. And I had very little interest because Daredevil's not one of my favorite characters, and I don't just watch a movie because it's by Marvel or because it's by DC. I watch it if it has characters I'm interested in, or the story looks good. Um, but I have yet to watch Daredevil, and I had no intentions of actually watching it. Like the Flash show that came out, it's on the WB or whatever, or the same channel that Smallville came out on. I watched Smallville when it started, and that show was amazing in the first year, and then it became like 90210, and I just lost interest. And so when I looked at the Flash coming out on the same channel, I envisioned the whole Smallville scenario, and I never really watched it. But my girlfriend was watching it, and she said it's really good, and I've heard a lot of good things, so I might sit down and watch the Flash. But as far as Daredevil, I had no real interest in watching Daredevil at first until I heard the second season had Punisher. Now I want to watch it. I just haven't got to it yet. I've heard a lot of bad talking about Iron Fist and the way they chose a white guy to do the role, and uh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to have a race discussion or anything, but I just see if they can play the role the way it's meant to be played, it shouldn't matter what they are. What race they are. It really shouldn't. There's a big debate with comic books and changing sexes and races and things like that, and I'm like, it shouldn't matter. If it's good reading, then read it. You know. So, but I have not watched Luke Cage or Iron Fist. I don't want to watch them until I watch Daredevil. That's my thing. I don't want to watch them because I feel like there's going to be stuff happening in Luke Cage or Iron Fist that's going to refer back to Daredevil, because that's usually how it always goes. Um, and I don't want to ruin anything. So, and they got that new one coming out with all of them together. So I really need to catch up on that stuff. You see, my problem though is that I'm too busy making these damn fades and pause stuff all the time, and I think maybe I should stop doing that so I can catch up on some TV for a couple months. Yeah, I heard he wasn't a very good martial artist. Yeah, Albert, I feel the same exact way, and that's what I didn't want to say because a lot of people stick up for the Deadpool movie. Um, I don't think it was that great of a movie, and I don't think that it really represented Deadpool the way that it should have. And Ryan Reynolds looked nothing like the comic book Deadpool when he took his mask off. There were many things wrong with it. The humor was there, but it, in my opinion, compared to the actual Deadpool, it wasn't enough humor. I mean, his joke is meant, not his joke, his book, his comic book is basically meant to be a parody overall. His character is meant to be a parody overall. And they just didn't. I think they spent too much time trying to explain how he became Deadpool that you didn't get enough Deadpool. I don't know. There were some hilarious parts, like the little baby hand. I was cracking up, but I mean, it had its moments. But overall, the movie just didn't. It felt like Deadpool in someone else's movie to me. It didn't feel right. Now the second one I'm hoping is better with Cable. I think they got Josh Brolin. Is it playing Cable? No, Josh Brolin is Thanos or Thanos. I forget who's playing Cable, but picture window. You know, I try that. I try to watch something while I'm doing fades, but my mind tends to focus on that one thing. Josh Brolin is Cable? Okay. Yeah, I heard he got bulked up for that role. And then I saw a picture and he's not really bulk. He just worked out a little bit. Oh, I'm like back and forth with the comments here. Yeah, Brian, I agree. I wish that the TV characters, I wish they could all just kind of get along, and it would be, they could make some awesome stuff if they could cross over. I got to catch up on Gotham too. Gotham is a show that we were watching religiously for a little while, but the season where Joker premiered, we haven't watched yet. So that I got to catch up on. See, we were watching when we get free time on TV, we wind up watching our regular shows like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, um, Black Sails. Uh, that's what we watch, and those are hour-long shows. So it's like that's our free time when she's not doing anything and I'm not doing anything. We sit down and watch something or a movie. Did it get canceled? No way. That show was good. It's Joker's fault. Yeah, doesn't it follow the storyline of oh, what was that? There was an actual comic book. Um it's not Powers, right? No. There was a comic book where they followed them as detectives and it had nothing to do with Batman, had nothing to do with that side of it. It was just the detectives. God, I can't remember it. It went on for a little while too. An actual book. I don't remember. And I think that's what they're looking at. But Gotham Central. Okay. Yeah, I remember a long time ago I had a few issues of that when it first started off. The terrible remake of Old Boy. I didn't watch the remake. I did watch the original, and it was a fantastic movie. But I did not watch the remake because I didn't want to ruin the original. I heard it wasn't that good, so. And I heard they changed the ending and things like that. I don't know what happened because I never got to watch it. But from my understanding, I'm not missing much, anyways. And yeah, Brian, it's Gotham is um it's when Batman was a kid. I mean, it's a lot of things are different from what people consider the normal Gotham. I mean, that's what comics are, though. There's different. There's multiverses. There's different things, but Gotham doesn't feel like you're watching a Batman show. That's for sure. Oh, Spike Lee did the old boy one. I didn't know that. Yeah, the original was definitely a good movie. Oh, the villain Sid. Yeah, I haven't gotten to the point in the show. Okay, I might have stopped a little bit sooner than Joker's season. I haven't gotten to the point in the show where the main villains like the Riddler and the Joker and those started to pop into the scene. I was more I think I was watching the last episode I watched, everyone was kind of going crazy in the police station, and Gordon was being held down on a desk by some crazy guy, and they're all trying to kill him. That's the last thing I remember from that show. So it was before a lot of big things happened. I'm assuming that we stopped watching it. But see, my preference also is that if we watch a show and we really like it, we're kind of weird. Okay, if we really like a show, we'll stop watching it for 6 to 8 weeks, whatever, and then I'll grab all the episodes and we'll watch them as all in a row, because we don't like to wait a week to see what's going to happen. We'll wait till the season's over, and then I'll get all the episodes and we'll watch them all because we hate waiting. Yeah, binge watching. Yep, we do that with Walking Dead for sure, because there's no way we can wait till the next week for with there's no way we can wait for Walking Dead till the next week. We just figure let's fight through it. We'll watch something else in the meantime, or we'll catch up on some movies, and we'll let Walking Dead just go by, and we'll get all the season, and then we'll watch it all at once. And that's what we do. Same thing with Black Sails and Game of Thrones. Those are our three favorite shows right now, so we do that with those three shows all the time. And she doesn't always want to do it. She's like, "Come on, we can watch at least two or three right now." I'm like, "No, we're gonna wait." So yeah, social media sucks. Um, for not finding out stuff. You remember the part a couple seasons back where Daryl was coming out of that hospital with what was her name? The girl's sister who died in that episode. There were pictures of that everywhere on social media, and I couldn't escape it. I was like, "Damn it!" And we didn't even watch it yet. Yeah, Beth. There you go. And he's carrying her out in his arms. Saw a picture of it the night that it happened, but we had not planned on watching. We were still like 5 episodes behind, saving them up. Oh, did you, Sid? Oh my God. Okay, so this last season, though, I will tell you, the season finale for 6 was really good. And then when they pick it up in 7, it gets okay up to mid-season. But when it picks back up in when did it pick back up? Whenever it picked up early this year to finish off season 7, good God, was that last half of season 7 good? That was so good. And there's a lot of people who kind of push it to the side because they don't. It's not following the whole Walking Dead zombie thing anymore. Um, but you know what? I think it needed a break, and I think the villain that they have now, Batman's dad, is really good at the role he's playing at Negan. So I I wish that it would have wrapped up at the end of season 7. I mean, I don't want to ruin this, but I was not disappointed with the final episode of season 7. I will say that. It was definitely very good. You're missing out, Sid. I mean, season 6 was kind of slow. I will say that. But it really starts to ramp. It starts low on season 7. From the finale, it kind of leaves you like, damn, wow, that was good. That was really good. And then when season 7 starts off a little slow and it kind of builds its way up to being really good at the end. Yep, yeah. And that's how it should be because you can only when you're running a show about zombies, you can only interact with the zombies so far before everything's been done. So, don't overuse the zombies. It should be about the world and how it affects the world. Here's some zombies. I haven't gotten the comics. I've never read. Well, I did read. Don't get me wrong. I did read some of them, but I read it in the what do they call that? Unabridged or something? I don't know what they call it. When it's like the first 50 books in one big book. I took it out from the library and read that. And when I read that, I really wanted to go and pick up all the volumes, but apparently, yeah, compendium. There you go. Apparently, they're like $70 or $80 each, and I was like, hell no, I'm not spending those $300 on books. If we ever decide to move out of town, I'll just take them out of the library and not bring them back. No, I'm kidding. I don't do that. Yeah, well, Sid, if you if you found it starting to go downhill like that, then the show is not going to get any better for you. Then probably it really is. It, I don't even know how to say it without ruining anything, but it doesn't change much. The method of the show, it doesn't change much. It still maintains that same kind of human to human feel. Uh, I did think it was awesome the early seasons when you got, them bashing up zombies and wiping it all over themselves just to get by the zombies, and that kind of stuff was cool. But you can only do so much of that, and then it becomes, you know, the same old thing. Losing main characters in the show to a zombie every time. It just for the first 3 seasons or so. Every time they lost someone, it was to a zombie, and here they change it up, and it's to a bat, from a human. So I think that it was a change that was much needed, but a lot of people aren't ready to accept that, and that's fine. I mean, I do think that it's a bit. You have all these fans who watched from day one, who like obviously you were said from day one, and they like the show, they like what it did, they like the zombies, they like the fact that the humans are fighting the zombies, and it shows their their whole war against the zombies, basically. And then they start to slowly change it up to the war with other humans, you know. And regardless of what it was meant to be, that's how it started, and that's how they built their fan base. And I think maybe some fans feel betrayed subconsciously because they started watching it as one show, and then all of a sudden it's turning into a different kind of show. So I can understand. I mean, but I guess for people who there's really no excuse for doing that. To be honest, there's not. I don't want to make an excuse for it. I would hate to have a show that I watch suddenly change up all of a sudden, or it would almost be like for somebody who's hooked on the show like me if they killed off Rick. Well, good God, where's the story gonna go now? So I would be curious, but it wouldn't be the same show. It really wouldn't. Yeah, yeah. That is a really overused. Carl, yeah. Exactly. And I think that they realized that they were just overusing those zombies, and there was not many ways to go. It's not like it's a gore magazine that comes out once a month and people just look at it because they like to watch gore, to look at the gore. This is a show that was on every week, and people expected it to be good. People expected it to be different. And when they got under that pressure of being different, because they don't exactly follow the comic book 100%. So when people expected them to be different and they needed views, they became different. Goro memes. So when I turned on the video, when I turned on my live stream today, the first thing that showed was a please stand by thing because I was having some issues with the API and things, but um and it was playing some music in the background. That music is from BioShock, so I really hope that they don't try to tag me again. I think I've gotten away lucky so far, but I'm not going to auto post this. I'll probably just cut that part off the video and be safe. What am I working on now? Today, not much. We've been cleaning around the house, and my kids are out of school in a week and a half, so kind of getting the house clean because I don't know if anybody here has kids, but your house tends to get dirtier during the summertime when they're not at school. So I want the house to be prepared for that. So spent most of the day cleaning, and plus we got family coming tomorrow. So, and then we went to see the movie, showers, eating, stuff like that. So I didn't have a chance to get into much today as far as working on anything. But at this very moment, I'm working on a bottle of Nestle Splash strawberry melon. But probably Monday. Oh, it will get easier for me to have some free time to work on what I'm working on though once they're out of school because one of mine is 14 years old, so he watches the 5-year old a lot, and they yeah. Hi, YouTuber life with my it was $1 for a 6 pack. It's actually pretty good though. It's not bad water. I got the seltzer water one time, the flavored seltzer water. Oh my god, I almost threw up. A friend of mine came over. I'll have to get back to my other story in a second. A friend of mine was coming over, and we were gonna hang out and play some video games. Actually, a couple of friends. And then I said, "Do you guys want drinks? I'll pick up some drinks, whatever you want." And one of the guys says he likes the flavored carbonated water. And I said, "All right, we'll pick up some while we're at the store." So got oh look, it won't get out of my pocket now. I have my 3D glasses from the movie here, still in my pocket. Um, So we got LaCroix, LaCrux, LaCroix. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we got that stuff. And he had one can of it and left the rest here. Oh my god. I was like, well, I guess I gotta drink that. So I took one sip, and it tasted like somebody boiled a shoe in there. It was terrible. Now, for those that like it, I mean, you like it. It's your thing. Because from what I've heard, if you stop drinking stuff with sugar in it and you cut down your sugar intake, those drinks actually taste sweet. But I'm not one to cut down my sugar intake, if you couldn't tell. So LaCroix, it might be LaCroix, yeah. But I love sugar, and that drink just did not have sugar in it. I'm pretty sure that I was actually drinking the metal from the can and not the drink. And so I called him and I told him, dude, I'm not gonna drink these things. I'm gonna dump them down the drain. If you want them, you can pick them up. So he came in and picked them up. It's disgusting. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually hypoglycemic. I ate cheesecake before I went to bed one time. This was years ago though, and woke up in the middle of the night with the worst stomach ache ever. I sound like the comic guy from Simpsons. Worst stomach ache ever. Anyways, so I went to the washroom and didn't even make it to use the washroom. When I walked in, passed out. I got the cold shivers, dizzy, passed out, hit my head on the tub. I don't know how long I was passed out, but I got up, walked in the room. This was when I was with my ex, and I told her, you know what, I just passed out. And I had to be to work in a couple hours. I said, I just passed out. I need you to call an ambulance because I don't feel too good. And she's like, just go to sleep. You'll be fine. This is why she's my ex, by the way. So I fell asleep and then I woke up later, a couple hours later, and I still felt kind of queasy. So I went to the clinic down the street, and they said my blood sugar level was 40, and they said if it was any lower, I may not have woken up. So it was a close call for me. I'm not gonna tell you I don't eat cheesecake anymore, though. I just try to watch my intake of cheesecake before I go to bed. That's all. I don't eat a lot of sugar before I go to sleep because it's bad enough my body doesn't process sugar the way it's supposed to as it is. But then when I do it before I go to sleep and I eat something full of sugar before I go to sleep and your body stops working, it fucks me up pretty bad. So um but as for what I'm working on, my plans are about Monday to get those tutorials done first and foremost on how to set up pause, fade, and bezels correctly. I'm not gonna do bezels in general. Like I'm not gonna do a tutorial for bezels in general. What I did notice is a lot of people have issues setting up bezels with RetroArch, so I'm gonna do a tutorial for that. Um, People are having issues where when they load a game, the screen will flash, it'll go to the fade, it'll flash, it'll go to the emulator window, it'll flash, and it'll go to the fade, and then flash and go back to the emulator. And that was happening to me at one point, and I know why it does it. So I figured I'm going to make a tutorial strictly for that. Yeah, RetroArch with Rocket Launcher. People were having issues with the bezels. But I know exactly how to fix it. You just run them through RetroArch. You don't run them through Rocket Launcher, but you put the settings through Rocket Launcher. It's very confusing, but um, really, yeah, I plan to do those Monday. I can do all three in one day if I get the time for it. So those three are going to get done, and then I also have to do a video because I actually have my Patreon done. I did the video for it. I did the description. I put up the rewards. If any of you guys want to see it, you can just search Retro Humanoid Patreon, and it's up. It's right there. Um, so, and let me know what you think of it. I mean, if the rewards are good enough or anything, I think they're pretty good rewards. I mean, there's a $50 mark on there, and I don't expect to get many of those, but I don't want many of those because of the reward that I'm giving for it. I would actually go through TeamViewer and set up, like, if somebody were to donate $50 through the Patreon, I would go through TeamViewer and set up their pause and fades exactly how mine are set up for them. So, and I limited that to how many people can do it. No, I had told another guy who mentioned it to me. I had told him that I don't want to do those on the official rocket launcher video, whatever you want to call it, until I'm at 100% availability. I don't want to start and have to stop because I have to do something else or anything like that. I want to have my head 100% into it, and I can't do that until after I get these other things out of the way. You know, one of the things was starting my Patreon, and that is done. I just have to make a video to announce that it's started, and probably lose another 20 subscribers because of that. I lost like 12 the first time I even mentioned it. So, but that's fine. But so one of them was my Patreon, the other one was the tutorial videos, and the other one I have to make an intro video to my YouTube channel itself. I don't even have one of those. It just displays my latest videos. So when people come to my channel to see it, I want something there for them to see what my channel does. So I have to make one of those, and I think that's it. And then I'll have the time to work on it. I do have the top 10 video or top 10 games for kids, and I know some people mentioned some games, but I'm gonna try to keep it to MAME. I've been doing some uh, focus grouping with my kids, uh, although it's kind of rough with the 5-year-old because he's really picky. So I guess that's a good thing, but the Genesis music is on hold for now. I did promise the Genesis music. You know, it really wouldn't be that hard to do that. I'll tell you what, Sid. After I finish these videos, I will kick out the Genesis music, and then I'll work on DOS. Yeah, and you know what? I'm sitting here trying to focus group my kids, and my 5-year-old is making it really difficult because I'm like, okay, let's try out. I literally wrote a list of a ton of games, and I explained to him. I said, okay, we're gonna sit down, and you're gonna try the games, and you're gonna give them a chance, okay? And he says, okay. I said, at least play it for a few minutes. We'll see if you like it. You know, if you die, it's no big deal. You can just start from the beginning or put in more quarters. You get more lives. I can set it to have unlimited lives in the settings if I can, whatever. And he said, okay. And I said, so we're going to go down this list and you're going to try each game. Okay? He says, okay. About 3 games in, I think he did Bump and Jump. Um, what else was it? There's games that I know he likes, that I know he loves. Um, but he did Bump and Jump and a couple of others. I don't remember what it was offhand. But 3 games in, he wants to play Mario Kart on the GameCube. So it's tough when you have a kid who's seen that stuff already, you know. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I may very well make the list a larger list and include any possible games you can put on the system, but I don't really want to do that. But my kids are making it difficult for me. The 14-year-old doesn't. The 14-year-old will play anything. I'll literally put an Atari 2600 game in front of him and he'll play it for an hour, you know. Um, and that would be my phone. But the 5-year-old is a different story. He really, you know, I give him Pac-Man and he'll play it. And I think he gets the problem that I'm facing right now that's going to make this difficult to do is that um I don't have a 4-way joystick. And it's hard enough for somebody like me who knows how to play Pac-Man and Donkey Kong to play them without a 4-way joystick. And then you put a 5-year-old in front of it without a 4-way joystick, and they just get frustrated. And you tell them you can continue as many times as you want. You know, it doesn't matter if you die, you can start over, but they still get frustrated. So I think that's part of my issue right now. Um, Luckily, I have a method to get around that, which I just haven't used yet. I have an X Arcade stick. Actually, I have a bunch of X Arcade sticks, but I'm going to take one of them and switch it to a 4-way and plug it into my Xbox that has coin ops, and he's going to do it there instead. So he'll have his 4-way joystick with the MAME games. But this is all when I'm ready to make that video, and that video kind of gets. I really like doing the high production videos, because it kind of adds more high production to my channel in general. And I love doing the media. That's who I started off with. I love doing the rocket launcher experience stuff. I like filling out my pause menu and stuff. But at the same time, I have to pay for a server. I have to pay for drive upgrades. I have to replace a drive now. So those kind of costs have to be covered somehow. So I have to come up with high production stuff as well to balance it out. These things I'm doing right now when I'm online, this gets me nothing. This is just a hangout. I literally will never see ever. This could be on here for years. I can tell already from the analytics that I will never see more than 20 cents for this video. Okay, so this is just for fun. It's to hang out. And my other Let's Plays were just for fun. But when I do the top 50 countdowns and the high production video, like the top 10 arcade programs, that actually gets me money. And that money turns around and goes right back into the channel to pay for the server for the Mega site. So those are kind of important to my channel. And it's good to get those out, and it's good that I have more ideas, but I don't want to just shoot out all my ideas for the high production videos. When I say high production, I consider everything I do low production, except for the top 10 programs for arcade cabinets. That was my high production work. And so I have other ideas for high production work, but if I start spitting them out, then people will start expecting them. And I'm already in slightly over my head at the moment. So, because it's just me. It's just me here. So I usually have to catch up with a lot of things before I can start working on the next ideas. And sometimes my ideas get ahead of me. But, so as it stands right now, though, the little things that I mentioned as far as the tutorials, this is the plan. The tutorials, the YouTube homepage video, see, I get lost. This is why I need a little pen and pad next to me. I know I'm missing one little thing, one video to the side of that, so when I remember that, that'll fit in there. And then the Genesis music, and then I can start working on DOS, and I'll probably get burnt out on working on DOS because it's a lot of goddamn games. So I'll get burnt about halfway through. I'll want to do something else for a little bit, and then I'll come back to it. So the way I see it, when I start DOS and I get that halfway through burnt out attitude towards it, that little something else I do will be the rocket launcher videos. I'll fit that right in there. Oh man, if you saw my walls, you would realize there is absolutely nowhere to put a whiteboard. There's not. You know what I get? I don't even know where it went. It's a little package of Post-its. A little package of blue Post-its. That's what I use. Because I have nowhere to put a whiteboard. I have toys on every single inch of my walls. Oh no, Sid. No. There's absolutely no way I'm going to cover 5,000 games. You guys wouldn't see or hear from me for months if I were to do that. I'm going to cover what I have. I can actually go in there so you can see it as I'm talking, but I don't have 5,000 games for DOS. The way I see it, okay. Oh, Sid, by the way, when I put these games in here, I mentioned it on a previous video, but when I put these games, a lot of them came from the Exodus collection. They didn't have videos. It was just pictures, and they didn't have wheels and stuff, so I kind of made that stuff. Now, the wheels are generic wheels. Nothing special. But the videos, if anybody has interest in those, I can put those on my site, the ones that I made. because they're not on Emu movies. So unless they updated their DOS since then, but I don't think they did. But anyways, so as far as DOS, I only have roughly 500 games. They're the best of the best. That's what I consider. Um, so I got about 500, and the way I see it is, you'll get direct media for 500 games. If you have the crazy Exodus collection, you already and you want to put the covers and stuff into pause from your collection, there's a way to do that already with a batch file, I believe, or an AHK script or something like that. So that can be done already by itself. So what is there left? Pretty much, I put all the magazines in a default folder. I put all the videos in a default folder. The only thing left is music, and a lot of the DOS games don't have music. It's just clicking and little spider sounds or text-based adventures and stuff like that. No music. So there's really no need to cover all 5,000 games, in my opinion. And like I said, I consider what I have on here the best of the best from DOS. So, um, yeah, I actually did get all of the videos from the Emu Movies FTP, and there were so many gaps, so many places where there weren't videos. So I had to turn around and make them. Now you got some that are like text-based adventures that there's no point in putting a video. It's just words on the screen. But a lot of them you have actual videos that were missing. See, like this is the kind of videos that came with Exodus. It's not technically a video. It is a video, but it's just screenshots flashing by. Um, and some of these I still have on here like this because I just simply could not find footage of the game, and I didn't have time to go in and record, because you can record through DOSBox. I just didn't take the time to do it yet. But there's other ones that are, popular games that I think, like this one, that didn't have a video before, and I pieced them together. That was another one. There's a ton of them. I think I did altogether like 250 videos, because out of the 500 games I picked, half of them didn't have videos. So I did about 250. Um, yeah, I could put those up. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do when I finish DOS pause media. I will put those video snaps up as well at the same time, because I'll remember it at that point. And it'll just be one big package, so people can download the video snaps and they can download the pause media at the same time, all in the same area. But the wheels, some of them I did official artwork. I cut out the artwork, but a lot of them are just generic wheels because I just didn't want to. I did make this theme because I couldn't find a theme anywhere. I wound up having to make this one. Nothing fantastic. Just I got to the point where I was just like, I'm switching from Hyperspin eventually anyways, so why put too much effort into Hyperspin? No problem, Albert. Thank you for joining. It was nice having a new face. Always, Sid. I'm always. A matter of fact, I was saying that in my first few videos that I ever made. I said, if you guys look at my stuff and you notice games that I should have, please let me know, because I don't know every game. I just know what I know, you know. So if you see like, hey, he doesn't have these games, he's crazy, he's out of his mind, by all means tell me what they are and I'll get them, because I take suggestions all the time. especially with DOS, because DOS is probably my second most played system on here. Let's check something crazy here. Now that I think about it, my 5-year-old plays this machine more than anyone in the house. Ugh, I can't check it. If I start this game, it's gonna be another copyright thing. And you see, I hate that they get you feeling that way. Like you can't do anything. I was gonna start Mario Kart for GameCube. This kid literally has. Oh, I know what I can do. Let's do this. I'll start up a random game. Let's start up a DOS game. Oops, wrong button. So, start up this awesome game right here. Okay. I can get you a list. I can uh, run a script in the folder that'll put everything in a text file and give you an exact list of what I have. And I run my games. I don't zip any of my DOS games or ScumVM games. So, by the way, just as a side note, really quick here, these menu logos, the part that says "See Statistics," probably some of the best, my favorite that I've made. I really like the style of these. And Prince of Persia was one of my favorite games on DOS. So, actually, Prince of Persia was one of my favorite games on Amiga, but we'll give it to DOS. All right, so here's what I wanted to see. So, most played games for the system, global. We'll go to global. Most played games, right there. Mario Kart Double Dash. 1 day, 1 hour, and 40 minutes. That is my 5-year-old right there. Lego Batman. That's my 5-year-old. Super Smash Brothers. That's my 5-year-old. Super Mario Sunshine. That's my 5-year-old. This kid plays Super Monkey Ball 2, Sonic Heroes, Hot Wheels. That's me. That and that are me. And this was all in one night on a stream. So, I mean, at least somebody's getting use out of it, huh? Good taste. But this kid will play the. I swear. Okay, here's our thing. He's got to be to school at noon. Okay, and I'll usually stay up late at night till 3, 4, maybe sometimes 5 in the morning, working on this stuff, because that's the best time for me to work on it. No one's awake, and I have quiet and freedom. You know, so I'll stay up late, and then I'll wake up at like 7:30, 7 o'clock to check on the 14-year-old going to school and stuff, and making sure he's awake, and then I'll go back to bed. And he usually stays up a little late because he watches YouTube videos on the phone. He likes to watch FGTV, some kids network thing, which I don't mind watching with him. The guy's pretty funny, but yeah, exactly. I work on this stuff 10 times more than I play it, Sid. Probably 20 times more than I get to play it. But so I'll go back to sleep, and he'll wake up at, jeez, 11 o'clock, and he'll start waking me up, saying he wants to watch something on Plex, a cartoon or something on Plex, and so I'll turn on Plex, but and he'll watch his cartoons all the way up until I actually get up out of bed. The moment I get up out of bed and come in the game room, he's right in here on the machine playing Mario Kart, and he's got to get ready for school in like 10 minutes, and he don't care. He's on here, but a year ago he wasn't too great at video games. I'll put it that way. He was not really that good. Now he beat like three stages of Sonic 4 earlier today. And I was just like, what? He got to a boss yesterday, and he couldn't beat it the first time. And I said, let me try it. And I tried it out, and I lost. And I said, let me try it one more time, and I'll get it for you. And he said, okay. And I lost again. And I said, well, good luck. And I left it. I let him be. He beat the boss today. So it's like, this kid is going to be better at games than me, and it's a scary thought. But yeah, as far as playtime versus work time, I mean, I'll run the machine in the background with game music playing, or I have my jukebox. I'll use that a lot on here, but they build off of our skills exactly. He knows his way around these games, and it's really surprising because he didn't really start playing the games until about a year ago. It's mostly just I want to play, so we hand him the controller that doesn't work, you know. Um, and then we started messing around as a family. We started messing around with Just Dance in the living room, and it was me, my girlfriend, and Dominic, the 14-year-old, and he wanted to play, so we gave him a controller. It was off. And we said, okay, we're going to dance. Come on. So we all start going, and he just goes, the controller's not on. The controller's off. He knew. So we turned it on, and he played. And then from that day forward, he really wanted to learn more about games. He just wanted to play them. And actually started taking them seriously. So maybe I'll raise him to be a speedrunner. I don't know. He can speedrun Mario 64 and take the record one day. But either way, I mean, as long as it's moderation for the games, I don't hold him back from playing. If I see him run in here in the morning, I'm usually like, okay, but in 10 minutes you got to get ready for school, okay? And he says, okay. I mean, I don't want to be that. I don't see games as a hindrance to a child. Matter of fact, a youngest Twitch millionaire. I wish he needs to get started real soon. Then, I'm gonna get him his own Elgato and a laptop. But I don't see games as a hindrance to children at all. I'm not on that side of the argument where they think, oh, kids shouldn't play video games because it just stunts their mental growth and they learn bad things and stuff. Let me tell you something. This kid has run into more bad videos on YouTube by accident than he will ever see from a video game. As long as I keep like GTA 5 out of his hands and stuff. But that's just common sense, though. Keeping the Grand Theft Auto games and things. I think it's easier for me as a parent to know what's good and what's bad to give a 5-year-old because I lived those games. I lived through that whole game rating issue. Yeah. Multi-user logon is pretty difficult though because you have to have it has to be server. Well, I guess you don't need it to be server. They don't have a server. Like Rocket Launcher doesn't have its own server, so if it had to call to a server, but it really wouldn't. It's not like Netflix. So I guess it's possible. I don't see why not, but it would also be really easy to hack into because everything would be local. So I don't know. It would serve its purpose for a 5-year-old, but it really wouldn't serve a purpose for a 14-year-old because they would just go into the files and change the names on the folders to get into the one they want, you know? Oh, definitely. I think it would be awesome to have different profiles, but um yeah, Sid, somebody brought it up in the live stream. I think he was live streaming today or yesterday. Somebody brought it up in his live stream about profiles, and he said that requires way too much, and they're probably not going to work on that. I thought that was beyond plugins. I thought that was program level because you have to actually, it has to actually create a profile, place, if you don't have a server to store the profiles like Netflix does or uh, Hulu does and stuff like that. If you don't have a server, it has to create it locally. So it would have to create the folders on a per profile basis and put the necessary configuration files and so on and so forth. And that's at the program level rather than a plugin level, I thought. So it would have to be something that Jason puts in. And there would have to be an interface for it. And when would it pop up? When Launchbox starts, you know, and that's also program level, I believe. I don't think that you, well, no, you can run programs and something starts without being program level, but I don't know. I mean, it's possible, definitely possible, and it would be. Oh man, see here, I'm playing music in the background again. I don't listen, do I? But now I'm gonna have Squaresoft contacting me about that Final Fantasy, and you know I joke about that, but before I put on the Castlevania music, I said, "Oh, great! Now you know, now I'm gonna get copyright from Konami if I put this game on," and sure enough. So, but anyways, yeah, profiles would be cool. Something like a Netflix thing. The moment you start Launchbox, or even Hyperspin if it runs through Rocket Launcher profiles, the moment you start your front end, it pops up with multiple windows for your profiles, pictures. You can put your own picture for it, just like Netflix does, and you select the one you want, and that will affect. Um, well, what would it affect? Lockout on games, I guess. Although, I mean, if you have videos and stuff of the games, you're still gonna kind of see. As a kid, you'll see that. So, a timer would be cool. A timer would definitely be cool. I mean, Launchbox is more like when you're talking something hyperspin, you're kind of limited. I mean, you're really limited to just selecting a game and starting up a game. Sure, it has nice artwork and stuff, but as far as options, you can put favorites, you can put genres and stuff like that. But you're really limited to just selecting a game you want to play, and that's it. But with Launchbox, he has built-in menus and stuff, so I could see that actually happening eventually. Yeah. When it comes down to, and you know, Sid, if they make something like that, if Jason implements something like that, that separate favorites and things like that, excuse me, separate things like that are going to be requested as well. So that might be why he doesn't want to open that can of worms because it's really gonna take up way too much of his time to do it. But Sid, I don't know. You want me to just message you through the Launchbox forums or something and let you know when I got that list so you can grab it and check it out? And that way you can tell me what I'm missing. Now, I will tell you, Sid, that when I put my DOS games in, um, I did use the Exodus package. But I'm going to show you what mine looks like. You use Exodus, correct, Sid? I mean, pretty much everyone who puts DOS on their system uses the Exodus because it's the fastest way to get the stuff. But I wound up having to kind of redo a lot because I was running into an issue where my my system wasn't recognizing the games because something was wrong with the config files. So I have my DOS box right here. I redid pretty much all of it so that when I go there Um, I click on games, and then I have my games, the full name of the games right there, so I can get to those. And then, oh, I have less than I thought. I have 410 apparently, so I'm probably missing quite a few. And then when you go into the DOS folder, there's my config files. And so my config files, I had to go into each one and I actually redid every single one of them because a lot of them weren't working for me. And I really couldn't understand why they weren't working. Um, but, I cleaned them up, took out a lot of the things that were unnecessary. I'm not saying he did a bad job. He did an excellent job gathering everything together, putting the audio executes in there, and all that stuff. But I wanted to kind of fix it a little bit. That's all. There were some that were calling for multi CDs, but they weren't right. The typing there wasn't right, and I just have a strange feeling. I mean, nothing against his work. Once again, nothing against his work. But I just have this strange feeling that everyone else has the same problem with it. They just don't know it yet because they didn't try to start every single game, but I did. I actually sat there and started up all 400 games. I did have 500, but I took a lot out because of ScumVM. But, I sat there and I started each one individually, found loose code, found missing code, swap disk calls that weren't executing properly, and things like that. So, I mean, I'm sure he's going to fix a lot of that in 3.0. But, oh, you haven't even set it up yet. Okay. I mean, that makes sense to wait for the new one. Good. That's good. That's good. I was actually thinking about doing that, but then I thought that'll be really damn rude for me to. This guy works so hard, and so many people are saying it's this fantastic collection and it works great and this and that, and I'm thinking maybe it's me, maybe I'm doing something wrong here, because nobody else is saying, hey, this game doesn't work, or this game is making false calls when it loads up, or maybe it's something I'm doing wrong. So I never said anything about it. But I mean, it definitely was a need. I'm sure he was under uh, a lot of workload because he did like 5,000 games. So I applaud the guy for that. I did 500 and I was already sick of doing it. Um, so I'm sure at some point it just became this just task of remedial task of doing config file after config file after config file, and getting used to the way it's supposed to look. But yet you come across this game here that's slightly different, but he's just trying to get those 5,000 done and puts it in. I, I would, like I was gonna say, I got a little off track. I would, but by the time I was like, I should say something, it was too late because I had already done like 30 games, 40 games, and I don't remember what I had taken out. So, yeah, you too, Brian. You have a good night, man. Thanks for joining in. I'm probably gonna leave very soon as well. I have to. What time is it? 3:42. I have to get up at 8 a.m. Probably about 9 a.m. at this point, and make breakfast for the woman and her mother. But yeah, by the time I realized I should say something about these, um, it's probably a little too late because I was already fixing them, and it was bad enough. It was something that I really didn't want to do because in my position I was in, I was like, okay, let me put DOS on my arcade because I don't have it yet. So I started doing it and then ran into some issues and decided to fix those issues. Meanwhile, I put my YouTube channel on the back burner because I stopped to do this DOS stuff and put it on my computer, on my arcade. So I'm like, I can't take forever to do this DOS stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because then people will think I abandoned the project. There was actually one video just after I finished putting DOS in here where I said, "Don't worry, I didn't abandon the project," because I was concerned that people were thinking that I just gave up because it took me a while to get the DOS things in there. Um, I really wish I would have taken a log of the issues, but I don't know that it would have been possible. I'm sure he's good enough. He'll find the stuff. You know, like I said, he did 5,000 games. He probably just did them quickly to get the package together, um, and didn't think of other possibilities with the code and stuff like that. What could go wrong? I mean, there were some that were set for VGA, but they should have been EGA to get a proper fit. But that's my problem because I'm using Bezel, and not everyone uses bezels for stuff like that. So in order to have some games fit a bezel, they had to fit a certain resolution, and you know, EGA won't go that resolution, or CGA won't go that resolution, so it has to be VGA. So I got to get it to work with VGA, and those were some issues where there's nothing that had to do with him. That was my setup. Um, so differentiating the problems that were existent because of miscoding and the problems that were existent because of the way I put them in was a little difficult at that point. I don't know. Oh, probably not because well yeah. Let me see. Let me try and see if that works. Ugh, looks like it's everywhere. Why do I only have 18 items? Oh, is this not? This is the game folders. Okay, so I need. How did I do this? This is definitely not the folder I need. I don't know. It's got all the config files there, but why doesn't it come up? Oh, CONF. Derp. Alright, so date modified to February 1st. They're all February 1st, 1103, 1104, 1105. So, yeah, I worked on this from pretty much January 25th to February 1st. And then added a few in later on. Well, what I'll probably wind up doing is when I work for a long time on one system, it's very hard for me to upgrade. So what I'll probably wind up doing is when he comes out with 3.0, I'll look it over and I'll see what's been added and what's been changed. Um, because when it comes down to it, 3.0 is really just more games. Um, for me, anyways, he might have improved the interface or the way it launches or anything like that. But for me, it's just more games. So I'll look it over and see if there's any games I'm missing, and then I will probably just take those games and add them to what I have and fix the config files on those. That's probably how I'll handle 3.0. But I don't see myself just kind of dropping 3.0 in a folder and getting rid of this one. Not after all the stuff that I did with it. I'm usually the type that if I work for a while on a system, I find it very difficult to upgrade if it's running okay. Really. Well, when it comes out, when he releases it, I'll look. I'll check it out and see how everything's laid out, and if it runs perfectly fine. I mean, if it runs the game's fine, then like without any configuration of my own, then I'll replace mine completely. But something tells me it won't, because not a lot of people use the bezels with DOS, and I went through a lot of trouble to. I took some games out actually because they didn't fit the bezel properly. Let's put it that way. I like bezels. I'm a fanatic for bezels. So when I put these in and I checked each game, they had to fit that bezel, or I wasn't keeping the game. Unless it was a really good game, I think. I think I only kept 2 that had problems with the bezel. But all of them fit the bezel. I know that seems like a silly thing to keep a game for, like, to get rid of a game for because it doesn't fit a bezel properly. But, I mean, that was my main goal with my system, was to not have it switch resolutions when I load games. I don't like the flashing. I don't like the to have it look like it's actually loading a PC game or anything like that. So I don't do the full screen stuff unless it's an actual PC game in the wheel. Um, I mean, these are PC games, but you know what I mean. I think there was one of them. I don't know, 1 or 2 of them that fit kind of funny in there. I want to check a game here because it didn't have anything in the folder. It may not even be on the wheel. Yeah, here it is. I wonder if this loads because the folder for the config was empty. Times played -1. It seems to work. That's strange. Look, I don't know why it's like that, but it's like a Doom clone. These are my favorite games on DOS, by the way. Well, not necessarily this. The games like this. Man, when I was a kid, let me tell you, played all these like this. Turn-based strategy games. The whole D&D franchise. Just excellent games. My dad gave me his Commodore 64 and a bunch of these games with the maps and stuff. We were just little kids, though, me and my brother, so we didn't know any better and wound up losing most of this stuff. But wish I still had that stuff now. See, here's a text-based one. I don't have a video for it, I don't think. Yeah, this is the one that came with it. JRPGs. I like JRPGs. I play those. I like the Japanese fighting games. I play those a lot. Some of my favorite. Um, Especially, I don't know how to pronounce it because I've never talked about it with anyone else before, but it's either Blaze Blue or BlazBlue. They have an anime about it and everything. Those are some of my favorite right there. And then there's Guilty Gear. I had a friend over the other day and we were going to play Cert Sign Guilty Gear, but it wasn't working right. It was like when we went into the game, and I remember it working a couple months ago, the last time I actually played it. But when we went into the game, it was just the thing was everywhere. It was like going through the menus, and I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what's going on here, and I couldn't figure it out. Well, I finally figured it out. I have an issue with my guitars on the cabinet where if we were playing the guitar game for a little while beforehand, and if I actually activate the guitars, it'll make XPatter go to the guitar profile, and it stays that way because Third Sign doesn't have a profile to switch to, so it'll stay on the guitar profile, and I don't use a profile for my front end. So the guitars, the little weight that's in the guitars for when you tilt it upward to do the special whatever. Apparently, when the guitars are hanging on the side of my cabinet, because I have mounts for them, that weight is shifted to the point where it's making it stick left on the controls on both of them, both guitars. So now I have to replace my guitars with wireless guitars, and whenever I use them, I have to put batteries in, and when I'm not using them, take the batteries out. That's the simplest way I can think of it. That's the simplest way I can think of doing it. I don't want to have to sit through programming controls and all that stuff when I've already done that. I don't want to have to go back over it just to try to sort something out like that. So I'll just get wireless guitars for my cabinet. Even though I don't know if you collect video games at all, but that's I do, and these Xbox 360 guitars are an arm and a leg because you can't get the stuff anymore, the older ones. So I think I have two laying around somewhere though. There was one point I would go to the thrift store and find guitars and drums and everything else um, for a couple bucks. Yeah, I don't use key mappers for everything. I only use a key mapper for the guitar games, and I think that's it. Even with Kodi, changing Kodi into a jukebox to use the arcade controls for it, I actually altered the controls in the XML file. I didn't even use a key mapper for that because I really don't like key mappers. I don't like relying on them to switch when you need them to switch. I guess I could set it up to load the key mapper when phase shift starts, when the guitar game starts, and to shut down the key mapper because I do use Event Ghost a lot. Um, and I could just use that to load it up and just shut it down. That'll work as long as I set it up as the guitar as the main profile. But yeah, I don't use key mappers other than maybe a couple things on my machine. Mostly, if I have to change the controls for like a PC game, I use AHK files. All my stuff is. I'm gonna shut that down again, just to give you a glimpse of how I set things up. I don't know if I've shown you already or not, but let's see. So emulators, PC. So if you go into any of my see, that's where you benefit. But unfortunately, I have to set these things as keys. So I have to make an AHK file for each game um, for the closing process so that I can use delete as my exit key because it doesn't always work when you set it up with Rocket Launcher. So I do that manually through an AHK. And then to change the buttons around to whatever I need them to be. It swaps out my buttons. So I wrote one of these for each PC game so that I can avoid using a key mapper and trying to make it work across 30, 40 PC games. I just use an AHK file. And then I have Event Ghost. When I start up Event Ghost, that's always running in the background. So I have PC games right here. It'll load the where's it at? Okay, so it'll load the controller files on a per game basis. And then when I shut down the game, see, like Rocket Knight. When the task created Rocket Knight, start program controls exe, and that points towards the controls in the Rocket Knight folder. And then when I shut down Rocket Knight, task destroyed. Rocket Knight is somewhere. Trust me, it's there. Task destroyed Rocket Knight. When that happens, it'll kill the controls. And I had to do this special for Velix games, but it'll kill the control exe. So it's all automated. So I don't have to worry about a key mapper screwing up on me. If anything screws up, it's my own AHK file. Plus, since I have each PC game loading an AHK file before it starts and closing when it ends, I can add things to that AHK file in the future if I want to have other things start. So it's beneficial. And then I use the Event Ghost to run all of that. So and Event Ghost uses like a really small footprint. It's like an 8 megabyte footprint on your RAM to run in the background, and nothing on your processor. So it's like a no-brainer. When I have a lot of PC games though, I run a lot off of my cabinet. You know, this is all PC stuff in here. And then I have other automations going on, like my equalizer for Kodi, my Dreamcast VMUs. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but they go to the top screen whenever I load up a Dreamcast game. So, and then my pinball games. You'll see on the marquee in a second when this thing starts. You know, I'll go into a pinball game and it'll put the thing up on the top monitor for me. No luck with it. You use a keyboard encoder with it, the keyboard encoding option? Because usually, those TV cards will have like keys you can press on your keyboard for the operations of the card, and you just take those and use the keyboard encoder in Event Ghost. I'm sure you're well beyond doing it now. You don't really care anymore, but you know, you just use that keyboard pass encoder to program your remote. I used to have a sound card with a remote control, and that remote control was designed to only control the sound card, but I used Event Ghost with it to control my XPMC at the time. So it's possible to use remotes even when they're not meant, as long as you have an IR receiver plugged into the card and it's communicating to the computer. You could program that remote to do anything using Event Ghost. But anyway, so yeah, I get the DMD thing. I think it's called DMD on the top monitor, and then there's other crap like the jukebox is playing music. I'm not gonna play music because then I'll get in trouble with YouTube again. When you're playing songs in this, it's got a graphic equalizer up top. I had to make this theme too. You know, this is probably something I'll show you. I have the marquee up top that I made with the Guitar Hero Arcade. This is actually not Guitar Hero Arcade. This is Phase Shift, but I skinned it to look like Guitar Hero Arcade. And I had to swap out like the main pictures that it used, and the main video uses Flash, so I had to change the Flash animation to, instead of saying Phase Shift, it now says Guitar Hero Arcade. It takes a minute to load because I got just over 1,000 songs in here, but this is something that I've been looking to make a video on too, and upload this for people to get, because this is basically a freeware program a shareware program, and the developers don't even really support it much anymore. The most it has is a Facebook page now for people to talk about the program. But the program itself went out with Guitar Hero on the PS2. Um, but it's still a good program for arcade machines. Yeah, well, eventually I'm going to make a video for this and release this as a package deal with the um probably Wink the songs included, but you can see on the top screen there on the left the graphic equalizer is working with this. So it all works together. And oh, see, I just programmed the keyboard. I hope this don't give me problems now because I did that. That's the only thing I can't do with this program is use the controls. One day I'm going to make an AHK file for this to shut down my actual arcade controls when this program is running, so that doesn't happen. I don't know if you see it on the top there. It says keyboard Alan. Alan is my name. If you accidentally hit a button, it'll start up as a keyboard controller, but it doesn't matter. Here, I'll show you the game a little bit. If I can get the guitar down without tearing everything away. I'm gonna knock something over here. I already know it. There we go. Okay, so if you press the button on the guitar, though... Oh, now it's not gonna do it. Because I said it would. Darn it. It's gonna do two-player keyboard. Oh, never mind. You know what? It's not gonna work because... Sorry. I was gonna demo it and show you what it's like, but... It will not work right now because... Once I discovered that it was the guitars doing that whole thing with Guilty Gear, I unplugged the guitars until I have time to fix it because I didn't want it doing it with other games. So it was doing it with my kid's Sonic game that he plays too. So I was like, I'll just unplug the guitars for now until I can figure it out. So once I get more, I get the wireless ones, then I'll probably deal with this program. But definitely, yeah, I'm gonna be making a video about this eventually. When I get caught up with other things and release this as a package deal and show people how to install it and how to get your guitars to work with it, all kinds of stuff about it. It's a really good program and it's extremely skinnable. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of options for it. You don't have to have Guitar Hero Arcade, but as far as I know, there was never a Rock Band arcade. It supports every musical instrument that plugs in USB, or if you have an adapter, it'll plug in through an adapter. I run both of my guitars through a PlayStation 2 adapter into USB. And these are from Guitar Hero 1. It will use guitars, drums, the keyboard. If you have a GameCube adapter, you can use the Donkey Kong bongos. What else does it do? Just about every musical instrument you can think of. The turntable as well. But the turntable songs are a little bit more difficult to locate. Not many people did the DJ part of this game. A lot of people just did the guitar. And that was what it was when it first started. By the time people started making the DJ stuff, the program started to die down. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of that. And I have a bunch of those. But, and the main problem with the DJ things is there's no receiver to plug it in. So the only way to get it to work is to use a Wii DJ one or an Xbox 360 one, and both of those have to be wireless. So it was limited as to what you can use to play that. So they didn't put a lot of support in there. See, I don't have any of the DJ stuff on here. Simply because I don't have the patience to deal with the DJ stuff. I have the games. I actually have a sealed keyboard, the musical keyboard. It looks like something out of Revenge of the Nerds. I have that and never opened it because the only instrument I have patience for is the guitar. I have drum sets too. I have like 3 or 4 of them, and I'll break them out once in a while and use them, but I just don't have the patience for them. But guitar, I love the guitar part. But anyways, yeah. So that'll be out eventually when I make time for it. Um, that's something I've mentioned a few times to a few different people, and everybody expresses interest in it when I mention it. So yeah, there you go. I have one hooked up to mine too. I got the two 360 controllers already on there, so I figured I'll just get the two guitars, and it won't be an issue. Just hook them right into the adapter. Not hook them into the adapter, but you know what I mean. Register them with the adapter. Um, Anywho, I should probably get going because if I oversleep tomorrow on Mother's Day, I can guarantee you I will never hear the end of it. So, appreciate you joining me again, Sid. And I will probably. I'm gonna have to do some stuff Monday and Tuesday. Mostly the videos that I gotta make up for. So Wednesday, my Wednesday, probably your Thursday will be the next time I stream. If you want to join, you're welcome to as always. If not, I understand. You got stuff to do. But I am out of here. So you have a good night, Sid, and the others that are in the channel creeping on me. Have a good night too.